Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. So if you've ever, gotten that like rush of excitement when you're writing lyrics or, humming a melody and you're trying to get like a feeling, get that feeling down into a song.
Yeah.
Then today's exploration is going to be right up your alley. We're going to be diving into how the sounds of words can actually like make or break a song. Why some lyrics just feel so natural to sing and others just don't really work.
Exactly. Like you think about those earworms, right? Those songs that get stuck in your head.
Yeah.
It's often not just the melody, it's how those words just fit right in there, how they flow, how they roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
And we have this really interesting source material called The Importance of Phonetically Singable Words in Song Lyrics and Their Contrasting Opposites, a nuanced exploration.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it's a really great piece because it brings together linguistics, how our brains work with sound and the art of making music.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this. What really jumps out at me from this analysis is how useful this information is.
Totally.
Like, it's not just theory. It's stuff you can actually use. So our goal today is to pull out these key principles that you as songwriters, as music creators, can use right away.
Right.
To write lyrics that aren't just memorable and emotionally powerful, but also a joy to sing,
So let's start with the basics. Why should we even care about this whole phonetic singability thing? It's got to be more than just sounding pretty, right?
Right, yeah.
Although that's definitely a nice bonus.
For sure, for sure.
What this research highlights is that singable words are way easier to remember.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's kind of intuitive when the sounds flow with the melody our brains latch on.
Makes sense.
And remember it better. You want your songs to stick with people.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want people to be singing along.
Exactly. This is a big part of making that happen.
So it's not just about how it sounds to the listener.
Right.
It's about how it feels to sing it too, right?
Exactly. Lyrics that are easy to sing put less strain on your voice.
Oh, yeah.
You can breathe better, project better.
That's huge, especially if you're a songwriter who also performs.
Definitely. Or if you work with singers. You want them to nail the emotion without fighting awkward sounds.
It's true. It's like you don't want the words getting in the way of the feeling.
Right.
And it goes even deeper than just the technical stuff. The sounds you choose, they actually shape the whole mood and emotional weight of the song. Just imagine a chorus with bright, open vowels versus one crammed with harsh, guttural consonants. They're going to hit you totally differently, right?
No question, the feeling is completely different. And this brings us to the science behind all of this.
Okay, let's get nerdy.
Our source material breaks down the mechanics, starting with vowels and how they work acoustically.
Okay, so vowels, those are like the long notes, right?
Yes.
The sustained parts of the melody.
Yeah.
The analysis talks about open vowels, like the aw and father, being really good for singing.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's all about these things called formants.
Formants. Okay.
Imagine your vocal tract, like a resonating chamber.
Okay.
And formants are the frequencies that get amplified in that chamber. Open vowels have a wider range of these amplified frequencies.
Interesting.
And they tend to line up really well with musical notes, so you get a richer, more resonant sound. The singer can hold the note longer and with more power.
Oh, I see.
Think about how opera singers shape their vowels. To be more open, especially when they're singing high notes.
Right.
Sometimes they even slightly change the purest form of the vowel, just to keep that beautiful tone.
Interesting. So they're kind of tweaking it to make it work.
Exactly. The source gives the example of an E sound, shifting towards an A at high pitches to keep the timbre consistent.
Okay, cool. So that means closed vowels are more of a challenge then.
Yeah, like the E in C or the into, they require really specific tongue placement, which can limit the resonance and make it harder to keep a strong, consistent sound.
Especially up high.
Especially up high.
Okay, now what about consonants? They feel like the punctuation, the rhythm of the words, right?
They totally dictate the flow and articulation. The paper breaks them down into categories, which is really helpful.
Okay, I like categories.
First, you have liquids like L and R, and glides like W and Y.
Okay.
These make for smoother transitions between vowels.
So like the word lullaby.
Exactly.
It just flows.
The sounds themselves feel gentle and flowing.
Yeah.
Then you have plosives, PTK. They create a sharp percussive impact. Great for emphasis, but too many in a row can disrupt the flow, especially that smooth, connected sound you often want in singing.
Right. It's like trying to sing a smooth line.
Yeah.
And you keep hitting these little roadblocks.
Yeah.
And then there's fricatives like S and sh.
Right.
The source mentions they add texture, but can be tough on breath control.
Yeah.
That Billie Eilish song Bad Guy with all that hissing?
Yeah.
That's totally a choice, right?
It's a very deliberate artistic choice. It creates that whispered, almost sinister urgency. It's a great example of using a sound that's not typically considered singable for a specific effect.
Yeah, to actually enhance the feeling.
Right.
This makes me think about how the rhythm of the words themselves interacts with the rhythm of the music.
Yeah.
The paper mentions this idea of rhythmic alignment.
This is where the natural rhythm of speech comes in. The source mentions Patel's speech-to-song illusion.
Speech-to-song illusion.
It's this fascinating idea that if you repeat spoken phrases enough, they start to sound like singing.
Oh, wow.
It shows how close speech and music really are, and how songwriters can use this. When your lyrics follow natural speech patterns, they're easier to remember because they feel right.
Like the melody's already kind of hidden in the word.
Exactly. Now let's talk about syncopation.
Okay.
That's when you play with the beat, putting emphasis where you wouldn't expect it.
Okay.
The paper says syncopation can be really engaging, especially in genres like jazz, but too much irregularity can make a song hard to follow and hard to remember. It's a balancing act.
It's like adding spice to a dish a little bit is great. Too much, and you lose the flavor.
Exactly.
Now, it's fascinating to think about how this all changes between languages.
Right.
The paper brings up cross-linguistic perspectives, which I thought was super interesting.
It is.
The idea that some languages are just naturally better for singing than others.
That's right. Italian with all its open vowels like amor.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that smooth, flowing bel canto style.
Beautiful.
On the other hand, you have German with its dense consonant clusters. The example they give is Angstschweiß.
Oh, my God.
It's a perfect illustration.
Try singing that.
Try singing that smoothly.
Yeah, good luck.
And the paper also talks about this trend in K-pop of using English words.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just about the coolness factor. It's often because those English words have more singable vowels in the context of a Korean song.
Well, that's so smart.
Lee's research from 2020 really backs this up. It shows how songwriters are thinking about these things, even when they're mixing languages.
Yeah, so they're really using language strategically.
Totally.
We've talked a lot about why singability is good,
Uh-huh.
but the title of the paper also mentions the contrasting opposites. So when would you actually want to use words that are not so singable?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I like where this is going.
It's about the power of contrast. The paper talks about how songwriters use less singable sounds on purpose to achieve certain artistic goals.
To get a specific effect.
Exactly. You got to know the rules to break them effectively.
I like that. Let's get into some examples. Consonantal harshness seems like a good place to start.
Okay.
Think about heavy metal.
Yeah.
All those guttural sounds.
Totally. Genres like metal use those sounds a lot. To convey aggression, power, chaos, the paper points to Metallica's Master of Puppets, specifically the K and G sounds in the lyric Chaos. It's like the sounds themselves mirror the themes of the song.
Yeah, like a sonic rebellion.
Exactly. In this context, beauty of sound takes a backseat to raw intensity.
Right, and that's the total opposite of something like folk music.
Yeah.
Where you often hear those softer, more resonant sounds we talked about.
Exactly. The paper contrasts this with the use of sonorant consonants in folk music, which create a sense of warmth, intimacy, a more lyrical and flowing quality.
Like Joni Mitchell's Both Sides now.
Exactly. The sounds support the emotional feel of the genre.
So it's not just about individual sounds then.
Right.
It's about the overall sound palette.
Exactly.
Now, what about dissonance in phonetics?
Uh-huh.
How can that tie into our emotions? The paper mentions the amygdala, the part of our brain that processes strong emotions.
Dissonant phoneme sounds that clash or grate can actually trigger activity in the amygdala,
Interesting.
creating tension, unease, even discomfort in the listener.
So the sounds themselves can make us feel uncomfortable.
The example they give is Radiohead's Creep.
Oh, yeah.
The KR sound in Creep is almost abrasive.
Uh-huh.
And it contrasts sharply with the more melodic parts of the chorus, reflecting that feeling of self-loathing and longing.
Wow. So the sonic discomfort mirrors the emotional discomfort.
Exactly. It's not just the words, it's the sounds themselves.
That's powerful.
It is, and rhythmic disruption can also be a really effective tool.
Oh, yeah, like songs with unexpected or irregular rhythms.
Exact.
Outcast's B.O.B. comes to mind.
Perfect example.
That song is pure energy.
The rapid delivery, irregular syllabic patterns, they create that feeling of frenetic energy and chaos.
Yeah, it's not a song you just casually hum along to.
Right.
It's an experience.
It's intentional, and then you have the opposite approach, using pauses strategically, like in Björk's Hyper Ballad, to create suspense or emphasize certain phrases,
Okay, yeah.
adding a different kind of tension.
It's all about intentionality.
It is.
Choosing those less singable moments for a reason.
Right.
The paper also talks about lexical exoticism, using foreign words.
Yes. This is where using sounds from other languages can add a sense of mystery, or the avant-garde. Lady Gaga's Bad Romance with that rah-rah-ah. It's so catchy.
Oh, catchy.
But it also has this slightly foreign, almost primal feel.
Yeah.
The paper cites Krumhansel's research, which suggests that unfamiliar sounds can actually slow down our brains.
Oh, wow.
Forcing us to engage with the music more deeply.
That's wild.
It's like our brains are saying, wait, what was that? I need to pay attention.
So it's like a sonic surprise.
Exactly.
Okay, the paper has some great case studies to illustrate all this.
Let's look at a few.
Let's start with Adele's. Someone,
Okay.
on the surface, it feels like a masterclass in singability.
Totally, if you listen to that chorus, never mind, I'll find someone like you. It's full of open vowel sounds. They resonate beautifully and let Adele hold those powerful notes.
With such control.
With so much control. The descending melody also mirrors that feeling of vulnerability. And even the I diphthong in Goodbye is crafted to be held for maximum impact.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The paper points out that she even modifies some vowels, especially in the high notes, to keep everything clear and resonant.
So she's adjusting as she goes to make it work.
It's a nuanced performance.
It really is like the whole song is built for singing along, even though it's so emotionally intense.
Absolutely.
Now let's switch gears completely
Okay.
and look at Metallica's Enter Sandman.
Right.
That's a whole different soundscape.
Yeah, here the paper focuses on the use of plosive consonants, like the hard T sound in Exit Light. It's like a sonic stab fitting with the nightmarish theme.
Yeah.
And those guttural R sounds add to that feeling of menace. But then you have the pre-chorus, Sleep with One Eye Open, which is more legato, more flowing. It builds tension before the chorus explodes.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a masterful use of contrast within the song.
So you can have both challenging and singable sounds
You can.
working together to create a dynamic effect.
Exactly.
And the last case study is Beyoncé's Formation,
Okay.
which shows a different kind of artistry, a hybrid approach that speaks to the versatility of the voice.
Yeah, what's interesting here is how Beyoncé blends her southern drawl in phrases like Texas Bama, which has its own unique sound, with the staccato, almost chant-like rapping sections.
Like I Slay, I Slay.
Exactly, and this isn't just showing off. It's tied to the song's message of identity and defiance, showing how different vocal techniques, even accents, can be woven together for impact.
It's like she's using her voice to paint a picture.
She is.
These case studies are so cool. They show how songwriters are making these choices on purpose, whether consciously or intuitively,
Right.
to really make their music powerful.
Yeah.
So for all you songwriters listening, what are some takeaways from all of this? How can you actually use these ideas?
The paper has some great starting points, and I'll add a few from my own experience working with songwriters.
Perfect.
One simple but powerful technique is to speak your lyrics out loud.
Okay.
Not just reading them, but speaking them rhythmically, almost like they're already set to music.
Like you're feeling the rhythm.
Exactly. This helps you feel the natural flow, identify any awkward parts, and get a sense of the natural musicality of the words.
That's such a good tip. Just experiencing the words in your mouth before you even try to sing them.
Exactly. And the paper reminds us to be mindful of vowel modification. When writing high notes,
Right.
thinking about how a closed vowel might need to open up a bit
Yeah.
to maintain clarity and resonance can make a huge difference in preventing strain and ensuring a powerful delivery.
So you're writing with the voice in mind,
Exactly.
not against it.
Right.
You're giving the singer space to move within the melody.
You are, especially in those high registers.
And for those who want to get more technical, the paper mentions tools like Vocaloid, which can simulate how lyrics will sound when sung,
Yeah.
so you can test things out beforehand.
It's a way to objectively analyze singability.
Cool. So it's not just a gut feeling anymore.
Well-
There are ways to actually measure this stuff.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with the sound of your lyrics, just like you are with every other element of your song.
That makes a lot of sense.
This whole phonetic thing, it's another tool in your songwriting toolbox.
Yeah. This has been a fascinating deep dive into this often overlooked world of phonetic singability
It is often overlooked.
and how to use its opposite for effect. We've seen how the sounds of words, can have such a huge impact on how memorable a song is,
Mhm.
how well it's performed, and the emotions it evokes.
So the takeaway here is that there's a duality at play.
Okay?
Singability makes things accessible and easy, inviting listeners in. But using dissonance and challenging sounds strategically can really amplify the emotion, create unique textures, and add another layer of artistry to your work.
I like that.
Mastering this balance is key to crafting truly resonant songs.
So to everyone listening, I want to leave you with the thought. Think about some of your favorite songs and really pay attention to the sounds of the words, beyond just their meaning. How do those sounds contribute to the emotions you feel and how memorable the song is? And then think about how you can experiment with these ideas in your own songwriting.
The relationship between language and melody is always evolving. And with a deeper understanding of these phonetic principles, the possibilities for creating impactful music are endless.